TruthRadioShow.com. So, like always, guys, we'll start at the 2-minute mark. So if you're watching later on, we're live right now, but if you're watching later on, just fast forward to the 2-minute mark and I'll start what I have to say. And we have to wait 2 minutes because it gives people enough time to get the notification, to know that I'm on, because I'm just doing a random video here. And this is just very concerning what's going on, guys. It really is. And for the record, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I care less about either party, to tell you the truth. And I'll get to that in a minute here. I apologize. I'm going to try to make it as brief as I can without cutting out. What's up, Yaya? What's going on, sister? Let's get over being sick for a day and a half. Thanks to Esther Jade's Natural Remedies, it helped out a lot. The fire cider and the elderberry syrup. So took that, and it's really helping me big time. Because usually when I get these things, it leads to the flu and pure signs of it. And so far, thank God, I've avoided that. So a lot better today. So just shaking off the after effects of it. So, give me another minute here. So another 30 seconds, we'll get going. What's up, Daniel? What's going on, brother? So what I'm going to say is probably going to shock a lot of people, but the truth has to be told. I'm a person, everybody knows me, I'm straight as they come, like straight down the middle. I don't hold any favor for the right or the left. So give me 10 seconds and we get going. Yeah, catch me live in the morning. So I'm praying that this broadcast doesn't get cut up. It's idiot's racing. All right, so here we go. Dan Bidondi live, TruthRadioShow.com. So I want to talk about what's been going on with gracious government we have, the right and the left. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I want to start out right off to say, okay, I am not a Democrat, not a Republican. I'm not a liberal or conservative, what do you call today? And I mean, I'm not either of those two. I'm straight down the middle. I'm a God-fearing, God-loving, Bible believer and constitutionalist. An independent constitutionalist is what I am politically. So that being said, so the last couple of weeks, I should say, the events have been unfolding. There's stuff coming from the White House, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, there's a lot of issues about this. Now, I already talked about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to be brief with this. If you want to watch the video, it's on my YouTube here. So about the Second Amendment, how talks were saying, hey, we should ban transgenders from carrying guns because they're mentally unstable, right? So, and I already said about this, right? Much as I don't agree with transgenderism, right? But it is their constitutional right to protect themselves. And not every transgender is mentally unfit to have a gun. You know what I mean? We can't judge them like that. So, again, I don't agree with them, with their lifestyle, but, I'm not their judge. God is, And they do have a constitutional right, just like we all do, to carry a firearm. And that opens the door for a future president to say who he deems fit and unfit to carry a gun. See where this is going? Right? So, just say Gavin Newsom, God forbid, becomes president, right? He says, all right, I want to use that clause to attack the Second Amendment. Guess what? If you preach in Christianity, you're mentally unfit. Don't think that's going to happen. Look what's going on in England now. And yes, Gavin Newsom would do that in a heartbeat. All right? So this opens the door wide to breaching the Constitution. Now, this new thing, right? And now I'm going to state this very clearly, right? Do I think these people who are going on social media blasting Charlie Kirk, laughing at him, making fun of him and everything else, say he deserved it, are evil people? Yes, they're demonic evil people, yes. However, it is their right to say that. It is their right to say that. Much as I don't like it, much as I despise it, they have a constitutional protected right to say that. So should they be fired from their jobs? No, not at all. Now people say, well, the left would do that to us. Yeah, they would. But two wrongs don't make a right either. You know what I mean? So should a person bashing Charlie Kirk or anybody that's dead, and as long as you don't threaten people or anything like that, you have a right to say it. And again, I don't agree with these people. I think these people are very evil. They're demons. They're making fun of Charlie Kirk and bash him and everything else. Absolutely, 100%. But again, it is that constitutional right, protected right, to say what they want. They have a right to voice their opinion and their thoughts and they are fully protected under the First Amendment. And this is going to go to court. These people lost their jobs over these political statements. It's going to go to court. Then you're going to see the Supreme Court's going to rule that they have a First Amendment right to say that. Now we've seen thousands of people, videos are all over the place, right? These people bashing Kirk and all that, who are getting fired. But this is going to go to the courts, and the court's going to rule on this according to the Constitution. It is their political right to say that. Again, as long as you're not threatening nobody or causing harm like that, you are allowed to say that. Much as we don't agree with it, I have to emphasize that over and over again. It is the First Amendment right for them to voice what their opinion is. And again, the same thing with the Second Amendment, right? First Amendment, yeah, right? You say, all right, what does this do? It sets a precedence of who and who is mentally unstable, who is has a right to speak, right? So just say, for out of this, DC decides, all right, we're going to make it a law, a hate speech law. They use the term hate speech for anything. So define hate speech. Seriously, define it. Hate speech is only defined with who's in charge. So that being said, right, just say, all right, you don't have a right to say this or that, and you're going to be arrested, or you could be charged. Look what's going on in England right now. They have a law right now. If you preach out in the streets of Jesus, if you pray it in public, you will go to jail. And it's going on in England. So don't think that won't happen here. Do I think President Trump's going to do that? No, I don't think so. I'm 100% sure he's not going to do that. However, right? Just say they push a law to say, all right, we can charge you for hate speech. And the people bashing Charlie Kirk and all that, we're going to charge you for hate speech, and and we're going to get you fired and all that. All right, so hate speech is the key word, right? So now, a person like Gavin Newsom gets into office, right? Guess what he's going to do? You already guessed it, probably right off the bat. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to use the hate speech clause to lock your butt up because you mentioned Jesus Christ. You mentioned liberty, you mentioned God, you mentioned the Bible, you prayed in public. Yeah, we're going to lock you up. Because when you allow leaders to to go through these loopholes, you are giving them authority to breach on our constitutional rights. And like I said in the last video, guys, the first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights, established by James Madison in 1789, ratified in 1791 of September, right? So, the 10 Bill of Rights are laws independent of government. They are set above the reach of government. So, if you take all three branches, the judicial, legislative, and executive, right? If you take all three branches of government, they can't combine. They cannot touch these rights with a 10-foot pole. They have no power or authority to do so. But by people saying, well, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's ban transgenders from having guns. Let's get people fired and charge them for hate speech for criticizing Charlie Kirk. Oh yeah, sounds great because it's not favored right now. Yeah, absolutely. But what's going to happen when a bad president gets in, and we know what will come because it's called the left-wing paradigm for a reason. And you got a left president in that almost pushes a civil war, and just before that civil war starts, they put somebody from the right in to quell it down. And it starts all over again. And the people fall for the same garbage every 4 years. Nothing never ends. Same garbage every 4 to 8 years. And they'll wait. It's like a professional wrestling match, right? I'm a bad guy and the other guy's a good guy. My job is to make that good guy look like a superhero. He gets these false comebacks. I cut him down. People get the speared. Then he makes this big comeback at the end to get the big win, right? It's all a psychological war game. And both teams play on the same field. You know what I mean? And both, I should say, they're both two sides of the same coin. They're controlled by the same bird, the two wings, right wing, left wing. Obviously, there's a bird in the middle, metaphorically speaking. You know what I mean? So don't fall for this garbage, guys, and you should not be supporting any of this garbage. Again, we don't have to agree with what they say. I think they're evil. I purely think they're evil for bashing Charlie Kirk on social media. But it is their right to do that. It is a constitutional, and the thing is, the Constitution goes both ways. We can't cherry pick how the Constitution goes. And by allowing this, you are allowing the President of the United States or the government to slip in through the back door to infringe on your First and Second Amendment. And again, you'd be like, oh, well, it's in our favor, so it's really not infringing on our rights. No, it's not infringing on our rights right now. But allowing the President to do this, the President will then be able to dictate who who is and who isn't hate speech, or what you can and can't say. You know what I mean? So this is where it starts, right? It opens the floodgates to tyranny. You know, as much as we don't like these people's mouths and the way they do things and hate us and call for the, you know, all this stuff, you know, it's, you know, it is their right to speak it. It's free speech. And free speech is horrible sometimes. Free speech is great sometimes, right? Like, just like anybody watching right now, you have all the right in the world to call me an a-hole. You have all the right in the world to call me a jerk or anything you want to call me. That is your God-given right, a constitutional right, I should say. And I support your right to say it. I might not agree with it, but I support it. And this is why I'm a constitutional independent. And both sides are hypocrites, the right and the left, big time. Because the left all the time always want to infringe on your gun rights and your free speech, right? Now, this is the right side to infringe on it. And here's the thing. The left doesn't hide it. The left will just tell you we want to do it. The right, they want to do it, but they hide it better than the left. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they know how this is going to work out in the end. So by allowing them to even remotely declare who is insane or not insane, what is and what isn't hate speech, that sets a precedent for a very bad ending for this republic. Not this democracy. We are not a democracy, by the way. And I don't care who told you that. Even President Trump says we're a democracy. We're not. When you tell a lie big enough and long enough, people believe it. And that's exactly what it is today. And in fact, you will not find the word democracy in the Federalist Papers, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, or the Bill of Rights. None of those documents you'll find the word democracy. But you will find, in fact, we are a constitutional republic. That's what we are. But people don't know their butts from their elbows today with civics, nor even the Bible, half the people. So that's why these people are allowed to go do what they want, dictate what they want. And the sheep line up every year. They get on the corners every 2 years, elections, whatever. You have all the people with the red flags and all the people with the blue flags at the corner ready to kill each other over two people who doesn't give a rat's snot about you. That's what happens all the time. And both work for this. They're managers for the same damn team. That's what they are. Hell, do they backstab each other? Yes. Do they slice each other's throats? Yes, they do. Do they sell each other down the river? Absolutely. That's how evil works. Evil only gets along with itself only when the status quo is in their favor. That's how these bad mafia agencies end up going under, because they themselves can't get along. They'll kill each other to get raised up in rank, because they only get along as long as the status quo is in their favor. That's why evil fails half the time. Evil fails half the time. So that's how the system works, guys. And so we need to be united, and it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. You need to end that crap once and for all. You're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, you're American, you know? And the day this country realizes that, this is the day the New World Order goes to hell. Literally. We could overtake the New World Order by storm, easily. But we know, the Bible says that Jesus is going to come. He's the one who's going to stop all this. Because people are too far gone. They really are. There's a lot of people like us out there who know the truth, but there's not enough of us. You know what I mean? And you got the diehard Republicans, the diehard Democrats being diehard idiots. That's what you got. You know what I mean? And, and the right appears to be good, but they go on the same path a different, long way to hell, literally. Then the left, they just told you right out, oh, we want to kill your babies, we want to take all your rights away, we want to do all this and that, you know? So, and this might cut out, guys. If it does, I apologize. Keeping it real today. Yeah, I'm keeping it real today, that's for sure. So, I'm just trying to read your comments without crashing. Yeah, so, the thing is, like I said, everybody has a right to speak. And, again, just for people joining us, those people trashing Charlie Kirk and making fun of the family, whatever, all right, they are pure evil demonic scum in my book, right? However, they have the First Amendment free speech right to say what they say, and they should not be fired from their jobs. Yeah, you call them back a jerk, whatever, that's fine, whatever, but, call them whatever you want, but nobody should be fired from the job for voicing out your opinion. That's just dumb. We might not like it, like I said, but you know what? It's a constitutional right to do that. And as a constitutional independent, you need to understand that the Constitution goes both ways. And this is exactly why, one of the biggest reasons why George Washington warned us about the two-party system in his farewell address. He's seen how it's set up in Europe. They were long ahead of us before this country was even established. They seen, George Washington himself seen how Europe went under. Were controlled by the Rothschild and all that, because what they would do is they would finance they'd take the two biggest parties in the country, infiltrate it, corrupt it, or create it themselves. And so when the elections came, they would have their two puppets for the finals, if you want to put it that way. And they would win no matter what. You know what I mean? So they control the system. George Washington tried to warn us about this, and Jesus did too in the Bible. The Bible says to walk that straight and narrow path. That goes a long way, guys. That's political and spiritual. The straight and narrow path is the way. Wide is the gate to destruction. So if you think, oh, I'm the left, I'm the right, both sides are going to get you to hell. Plain and simple. Sure, the right presents to be more morally Christian and all that, and most of them are. But however, the party itself it's a Masonic garbage party. It's not the same party that Abraham Lincoln established. It's been hijacked, it's been infiltrated, it's been destroyed from within. You know what I mean? So this ain't the old JFK Democrats. This is not the old Abraham Lincoln Republican Party. These two parties are New World Order parties. You know, they're getting on that same big plane, that same big old plane that they claim they're fighting against. And that's the New World Order. The Democrats got their version, the Republicans got their version. But ultimately, the same boss at the top that controls both of them. And yes, it's going to be different, absolutely. They both oppose each other on many things. And they both, especially the lower ranks, like the Congress and, mayors and governors, whatever the case. They really think they're doing something good for their parties, But the parties at the very top, they control the whole thing. It's the same puppet master that controls the right and the left. And are there good Democrats? Absolutely. Are there good Republicans? Absolutely. That's why I tell people to vote for the person, not the party. And so I got friends who are Democrats and friends who are Republicans, both politicians. Excellent people. But again, it's at the very top is where the problem is. So both parties at the top want your rights. They want to push into a New World Order. So we need to stop this stuff, guys. We need to support people's First Amendment, the right to say what the heck they want. Again, you don't have to agree with it, but it is their right to do so, and people don't like it, too bad. This is the United States of America, a constitutional republic. And here's the thing about being American, right? You're going to offend people, and people go to offend you. So what do you do about it? You put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on and get the hell over it. That's what you do. That's what I'm growing up. What I do growing up. How many times did I get offended? It's like, yeah, whatever. Nobody could care about that. We didn't go seek psychologists or go into safe spaces or cry. Woo! Somebody offended me and wanted to sue them. No, we got over it. You know what I mean? So in our parents' generation before that, we all offended people. Who cares? You get offended, you offend people yourself. Who cares? Get over it. But yeah, somebody wants to voice out like an idiot and bash Charlie Kirk, which again I don't agree with, and I think they're evil pukes if you ask me. But it is their right to do that. It's a constitutional right. So no, they should not be fired from their jobs. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. And same thing with certain parties not owning guns. The free speech and gun rights apply to every law-abiding citizen American. We don't get to pick it and you can't. That's tyranny right there. So, and again, I'm a constitutionalist independent. You want to put Wi-Fi in your truck? I should, actually. So, I don't know. Am I still live, guys? I know it's going to cut out, yeah. So, guys, please support our channel, guys. If you want to make a donation to support our ministry and channel, the links are in the description. We're going to PayPal, Venmo, CashApp, Ko-Fi site, and all that. It helps support our content and to be able to go out and get equipment and everything else we need. And still a little choppy. All right, well, I'm going to end it here, guys, because it is going to cut off over here. So, love you guys. Support the Bible and support the Constitution. So, God bless, shalom, and you are the resistance.